First of all, I'm just interested in hearing your view on to what extent this plan by the government to protect people from the worst rises in energy prices, what difference that's going to make to people. It comes in effect, of course, tomorrow when prices are due to go up.
Absolutely tomorrow. I mean, if the government hadn't done this, let's be clear, it would have been totally apocalyptic, the level of price rises that we would have seen because of those changes in the wholesale market. The Ofgem had this mechanism that would have passed that on to all of us households. So the government really needed to do something. It's a very big package. But the trouble is it doesn't get all the way there. So we've got the £400 that's going to be split over the next 6 months that will be going to everyone. And then there's this new cap on energy bills. Now, the average household with average consumption, that means their bill would be £2,500. But the really important thing to understand is that is average consumption.
It could
That's
go
not
higher if you use more.
Absolutely. If you're a bigger house, if you've got a bigger family, it will be higher than that. And obviously, if you've got smaller property, better insulation, whatever, it will be smaller than that. It's not an overall cap on bills. So what you're actually using over the winter is going to make a huge difference even with that government protection. And if we compare to where we were last winter, even with all this government protection, the bills are still looking around double what they were before. So households are still under major pressure.
Well, yes, and your survey's found that, hasn't it? That there are some people who are really going to have to make some difficult decisions still, even with this help.
Absolutely. I mean, it shows, our research is showing that pretty much all of us are really thinking about how we can pull back on usage. About 5 million households, 1 in 5, say that unless they really do pull back usage, they won't make it through the winter. And 1 in 10 think even with doing all of that, they're still going to really struggle. So we shouldn't think like the pressure over the winter has gone on energy. It very much is still there, and there still is action that households are going to need to take to make it through.
So what kind of action can they take?
So at USwitch, we've got 3 things we're advising customers to do: check, track, change. So first on check, make sure your meter readings are up to date. It's really important to do that when the rates go up, especially if you don't have a smart meter. Get those into your supplier around now.
Why is that so important?
Because when rates go up, if the supplier has to estimate the bill, it's quite possible that usage you've already used will get charged at the higher rate, and you don't want to get in that situation. Then the next one is track. Now, at USwitch, we've brought out a new app called UTrack, which is going to connect up to people that have got smart meters. More than half of us have those, and show all the information about what I'm using, when, give you the hints, tips, and tell you how you might be able to reduce the usage in ways that you don't have to make the worst possible decisions of just shutting everything off. And the last one is change. It's not going to get us all the way there, but the reality is a lot of us are going to have to change consumption to make it through the winter. And even if we don't have to, a lot of us are looking to save money. It's not like the pressures aren't there on other areas of household bills as well. So that's things like use the information on tracking to make those adjustments, turn your thermostat down, don't use appliances, you don't have to, all of that. We're still looking at all of that this winter. It's still going to be difficult.
Well, yes, and obviously the main thing is people need to be able to eat, they need to be able to use their cooking machinery, appliances, and they also want to heat their home. So what other savings can be made? Is there awareness of what can be done?
I mean, I think pretty much all households are aware they really need to do something here. I think what we're trying to do at USwitch is by giving you the data of exactly what's happening in your house, you might be able to identify stuff that's easy to turn off and doesn't mean you have to make the worst possible decisions. But then you also need to look at, can I use appliances less? Can I use a microwave instead of an oven? Can I turn the thermostat down a couple of degrees? These are the things that can start to make a material difference. You'll start to save hundreds of pounds if you're really focused on making sure you're not wasting energy.